Here I am, Leon C, aka Morpheus. I am very excited about this audio log because I have received at least several emails and requests about this particular subject. I have spoken with several males, and those guys seem to think that being in a blue pill world is natural. They seem to have the story misconstrued, where they begin to think that the average male today, in the habitat of distancing himself from the female, is considered to be an unnatural thing, and that he should always be at service to her, no matter how hard or harsh she is manipulating him. Of course, we know that's when you receive the red pill. That's when you receive your awakening and begin to comprehend how unbalanced and how screwed the game is, how it is rigged against the male. But however, these guys, individuals, at least the 4 or 5 of them, I can't go into the details of what they specifically asked in the emails, but in the median, and the average question was based on needing to understand or have some sort of evidence how it was in sort of the beginning years, around the years of 1930, 1940, and so forth, to the date today, how that was such an unnatural time, how it was such a manipulation for men to have lived their life under the servitude of females and to have now been awakened. So for you gentlemen who still think that it is in your nature to be the red carpet for a woman, for you men who think it's in your nature to provide, protect, hold, nurture, regardless of how many boots she wears and she run all over you, for you men who say happy wife, happy life, for you men who will give her the best of everything and give yourself the leftovers while she continues to take from you and divorce rape you, and you still will have nothing. For you men who love this woman with the powerhouse to do anything and everything and be unaccountable for her actions, while you continuously suffer, while you have no man power groups, while the government consistently and on constant normal basis give the child custody unto her and not to you, okay? While the society look down at you if you have shortcomings, but when she has shortcomings, she's praised for it. For you gentlemen, I have a red pill that I'm going to give to you right now. All right. And for you ladies, if you are tuning in to my audio here, yes, this is legitimate. Yes, this is up to date and current. Yes, you can still contact me. Yes, you have my connections there. Yes, the book is still available. 2020 America Rise or Fall Hard. Yes, as you're listening to this, maybe even months later or a year later, I am still doing this, so you can still contact me. And yes, I am still on the support range of my videos. You can still like, share, and support. Okay, and we will continuously grow. Unfortunately, as I've noticed, sometimes people receive the message late. Sometimes you may receive it 2 months later or 3 months later, or even for some viewers, they might even receive the video at least 3 years later tops. But that doesn't mean that it is late. That doesn't mean that it is outdated, because I'm still making videos and audios. I am still teaching. Okay, and I'm still supporting America, and I am still Morpheus giving the red pill. So everything is still up to date. So you are not behind. It's just it took you some time to catch up to Leon C, aka Morpheus. So you can still like, share, and subscribe, and we will still move forward. Now listen up, my males of America and women who are listening in. There has been an expression for years that some of the ancestors, not all of them, Some of the older generation, those who had the ability to teach the truth, which was seldom, you could say 1 out of 10, obviously, the way that the country is today. But those minorities have said something that a lot of the people around you in your environment or society overlook. They constantly told you that television was a mind washing machine. They on occasion have explained to you how devastating it is to sit in front of the television, or even in some cases how music is an effect on the mind and the psychology of the masses of people. And also there were some professionals that would also tell you that watching television longer than an hour is no good for your mind. But I would say it's Morpheus, because I am the director here and the one who is to lead you to the land of empowerment and the paradise of knowledge. It goes further than that, whereas your subconsciousness is the one that is entrained, not your frontal lobe, not your conscious mind. It is your unconscious mind, which was entrained the entire years. It is of no coincidence and a surprise that younger gentlemen from the ages of 7 to the teenage years and going up have been entrained by the television channels, by music, by the environment, by products, by shirts, t-shirts, and billboards to teach this man, or to entrain him, to make him think that his job as a male is to be a red carpet, is to serve, is to be a portable ATM machine, regardless of the damage to him, to his finances, to his retirement plan, and to his successful future. This has always been for many years, but not to go too far ahead of myself, I will explain to you that only recently, in these past few years, the women that was born of those generations have begun to rise up and show you what they are generally all about by Facebook, Instagram, social media, their lifestyle. Or you go to the grocery store and you see this so-called soccer mom with this extremely tight, I call it pajamas, that they try to call it yoga pants, which should stay in the yoga gym right there in the public store, and dare you to objectify her, whereas she is initializing herself to be objectified by doing it on her own, as if men are blind, as if a 19-year-old boy cannot see that those two wide lobes bluntly blinking in his face. Okay, as if he's blind to the curves of the opposite sex, as if he's not a male himself attracted to the opposite sex on a general correlation. Okay, these women have always been what they are today. It's just so many years ago, it was undercover, it was under wraps, it was discreet. Now, if you want more of a detail, there is a video that I've created. If some of you have been following my videos, I cannot quite remember the title of it, but I have explained in the video that there are often times where people do not reveal who they really are until pressure comes. And not only that, you want to give a person as much freedom as possible so they can actually display what they're really all about. If you have to put restrictions around them, if you have to prevent them by threat, by protocol, or by rules or laws, they're not going to show you what they are truly all about. If you give them the entire acre and you take the chains off and you tell them to run to wherever they want to go, then that would give you the opportunity to see what they are generally all about. You can see the real Shangri-La. You can see the core function of their entire value. So many years ago, with the average woman, or you could say the American woman on a general basis, she was under restriction, gentlemen. She was under a a ceiling that prevented her from being, I would consider it, loose-legged to donkey dunk and to put herself up where she would be you can consider it to be a legal prostitution, as what they're doing today. It just has a different name and has a different form, and it's on a different system, but it's still the same thing. And they still do the same thing, same as marriage itself. Marriage is a legal ring of a legal prostitution, because as you know, most women today only get married because you got something in your pocket, because you have some type of financial stability that she's interested in, not because she's interested in you, which is an obvious thing. These women today have an expression called about dating down. What does dating down mean? It doesn't mean anything. Okay, not to the male, but to her, she dates down because she's looking at the prospects of the man. She's not looking at the personality of the man. She's not looking at what you are. She's looking at you as a walking ATM. So to her, it's like, okay, I have this very good flashy bank account with an unlimited credit card with this type of guy, but with this other type of guy who's not that fluent in money, or shall I say that fortunate. Now I have to date down because now there's limitations on this credit card. If you want to look at it like that, it is the same thing. So she was under wraps. She was this, I would say, this woman who was in garb, but she covered it up. She kept herself under control because she did not have the free reign. She didn't have the acre to run. She didn't have social media. She did not have other women boasting her and motivating her to walk out of the house pretty much naked. All right. She did not have plenty of fish, or shall I say, plenty of men, okay, blue pill guys who would praise her, who would always be her circulation ring that motivated her to be what she is today. Now, before we go further, I want y'all to realize something, that this is not generally what my title or what my channel is all about. But because I'm alpha, because I'm red pill, because I deliver the red pill, this is some of the main topics that people are requesting from Morpheus. As you know, I talk about everything. I talk about spirituality. I talk about health. I talk about the economy. I talk about many things that is a subject of all the apparatuses, of all the issues that can empower you. So don't get it wrong and think that this is just simply a Maytao channel. Don't get it wrong and think that my subjects are, this is just my subject. No, Morpheus is about the entire red pill. Morpheus is about destroying the entire matrix. Morpheus is about talking about raising your children. Morpheus is about talking about the hidden truths that you do not otherwise see or you know of, but you need more explanation and more exact information about it. All right. So if you continue to stay tuned stay tuned unto this particular wonderful empowerment channel and subscribe, okay, there will be much more for you. I've said that in one of my other audio logs, okay, audio videos. So I just might have to explain that to you again, just in case there are those who are watching who have a very short thinking span, or shall I say, who have a very short vision. All right. My channels is long vision, is an investment for the future that has no limits to it until you are completely liberated and the matrix is underneath you and you are flying like I was able to help Neo to do. Now, listen, I talked about the woman on this particular aspiration, and I'm not done yet. Let's talk about the male's issue during those particular years, 1920, 1930, 40, and going up. Where he have been born and bred to be this blue pill, for you blue pill beta gentlemen, thinking that it is normal for you to be as you are, thinking that she can slap you and all you need to do is to stand there and accept it. You are allowing her to run over you and put you underneath the bus on constant occasions where you continuously suffer because she's a beautiful girl, because she has a beautiful face, a beautiful body, because she is bearing or holding your children. That's not an excuse for her to take full advantage of you, regardless. And when it comes to equality, okay, it is mano y mano, where it is give and take on a usual basis. But if you open up your eyes, young gentlemen or gentlemen of the world, you begin to realize there is no equality when it comes to the relationships that dealing with these toxic women today. Whereas it is what you can do for her and very seldom what she can do for you. Or her being raised, you could say, by a general natural grandmother who is actually becoming and is a good role model for her as to showing her and teaching her what it means to be a modest, honest, decent, homegrown, well-bred woman for a man. You got to understand that years ago, women was prepped for this. Women had grandmothers in their homes who was examples, women who had standards, women who did not dress to impress, women who stood by loyalty to their men, women who wasn't interested in the full-fledged financial advancement that they were able to receive from their males. Most times they were just content and happy that there were at least a male in the home, or a male that at least respected them, a male that cared about them, a male who did open up the doors, who would roll out a red carpet, and who would treat her with respect. You understand? So she was satisfied with that. But unfortunately, with those grandmothers and those ancestors passing away and not doing their just diligence, and them also selling off to be a friend to the child instead of being a mother or a grandmother to the children. And of course, as you know, most of them today going back to the workforce are still working at the age of 61, 62, and some of them 50, 54, when they should be home with their grandkids. They too busy trying to catch up with the younger generation. They want to be hip like them. Now the grandmothers are learning how to text message. Now they're doing Instagram, Facebook, and they want to be the famous, outstanding MILF that was able to destroy the wall with her bare hands. While on the other end of the fence, there was something that was happening to you males that you wasn't looking or paying attention to, that you probably now have a clear vision. You was being entrained to continuously be this lapdog, to continuously be this pawn who would be at service to her no matter what. To be at service to her just being a beautiful object that she allowed herself to be over the extended periods over time. Now, when you go back and you watch the television shows, when you watch TV shows, and definitely the cartoons, which is my angle in this particular audio log, that's what I really want you to concentrate on, the cartoons, okay? It was one thing for the movies to show you, or shall I say, to try to demonstrate to you that it is only a male's job to just work, and whatever he needs to do personally don't matter, as long as she's taken care of, as long as she is well-bred and well off and comfortable. He can be kicked over, ran over, things taken from him, put in a jeopardized situation, and it was considered as a comedy. All right. Even music itself, R&B music, or some of the soft jazz. Now, I'm going to go in depth with that just for one moment. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you, for the simplicity of it, let's double-edged sword this. So on one end of it, it was making the younger generation, or some of you blue pill gentlemen, to be blue pill beta guys that feel like that you need to be at service to her, and to lower your confidence and your self-dignity by praising this woman, singing to her, uplifting her, and telling her all the great things that you would do to her, without you ever actually sitting down thinking about what the things that she need to do for you. That was through song. Song would tell you how you need to work into your fingers to the bone, where you need to suffer in order to be, you need to walk through snow barefooted. You need to climb the highest mountains on the face of the planet to prove to her that you are the man that she needs. So that made a blue pill out of you. That made you soft. That made you to be this beta who, when any type of woman gets into any form of trouble, regardless of if she makes it and it's her fault, she initiated it to begin with, where you come to her rescue wherein otherwise she don't need to be rescued. So those blue pills, such as yourselves or others, end up becoming more of a problem than the solution to bonding real functional relationships. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, you would have that same song, you would have that same verse, you would have that same music, that same concentration of you need to love this girl and respect her and appreciate her. That particular apparatus was for the women who really deserved it. Now, remember what I just told you in history, those particular women were under restraints. So they may have at that time seemed like virtuous women. Although they did cook, they cleaned, they stay home, they took care of your children, or the children of America. All right. They did not go out and showboat themselves, and they shunned other women for trying to do the same thing. And there was no such thing as a slut walk. All right. That was considerable, but still men at the time were blinded to the, again, what did I say? They were blinded to the true nature of the woman. They were blinded to the undercover snake that only recently have revealed itself in the middle of the apple, which is considered as what? A worm. All right. But however, at that time, however fictitious or unreal, you could say, or however restraint that woman was, she was still a higher value than the women that you see today. She was still worth a man saying that he will work his fingers to the bone because she had more value. All right. She held the kids tight. She did not divorce rape as often as what you see today. Marriages survived a lot longer. All right. She did not destroy the exclusivity by becoming a donkey dunk toy for every other type of man in her generation or her time. So those songs were only for them. You got to understand, those R&B songs was for those women of that time who was worth that type of value and energy from men. It was worthwhile for men to go out there and do all that he can to provide for her. It was worthwhile for him to figure out what the greatest come on lines was. It was worthwhile for him to protect her, to provide for her, to come to her rescue, because only often there were more qualified women than there wasn't any qualified women. Women who did a such thing as a slut walk or who had a promiscuous donkey dunking lifestyle, okay, they were shunned. They were in the minority. They were in the small numbers. They weren't appreciated. They wasn't praised. The government didn't stand by their side. The grandmothers didn't stand by their side. Blue pill betas didn't even stand by their side. As a matter of fact, the blue pill betas would stay far away from them. All right. They would consider those girls to be of a consequence, or you could say of a liability to their freedom in their life. The only ones who was really uplifting them is what you would consider to be the pimps. All right. The pimps are the prostitute runners or pushers. OK, they will stand by those girls' side and continue to promote them, help them, be there, because all they wanted to do was just continue to get take their pleasure from them. OK, and make them feel like they're important because they were the leftovers of a society. OK, now, as you can imagine, now that have been expanded to where it has overtaken the majority of the positive, moral, good, virtuous women, to where that lifestyle, again, of promiscuity and legal prostitution, and I'm going to walk out of the house halfway naked for the world to see, is now a very popular thing. Now it's praised. So that would tell you how much of a receding quality of the environment. But I'm not going to talk about that subject. You can imagine it just by listening to the story, or you can say the actual, you can consider it a history document that I'm giving to you right now. So, however, that just explains the two sides of the R&B music, the jazz, the country that was made for wonderful women at the time. And it was also made to soften up the males. So it was a control factor. All right. It was an energy that programmed the mind of those generations. But it had its positive ring for a positive reason. All right. That's why some of the music now, if you really go back, if you listen to some of the songs that are played now, like R&B or some of the rap music or even some country music, it's not as great as you think it is. It's not so much as to you need to provide and be all these red carpets and door opening blue pill activities for these women anymore. That's starting to decrease. That's starting to change. You're starting to hear men talk about other subjects. You're starting to hear songs talking about women aren't loyal. Okay. You're starting to hear songs about men just saying, let's just get it and be done with it. You know what I'm here for? Let's go straight to the bedroom and that's it. I don't need to know your name anymore. I don't even care about you giving me my number. Years ago, that was a great thing. Years ago, if you got a woman's number, you felt like you was the richest man in the planet. You felt like you earned something. Nowadays, having a number means nothing, because you begin to realize, men have begun to realize, even blue pill beta guys have begun to realize that just because you get a woman's number, that doesn't mean that you're going to score. That doesn't mean you're going to have quality from her, because there are several other thousand men not only got their number, they got their Facebook connection, Instagram, and they're meeting her as we're speaking right now. And all you got is her 7 digits. 7 digits isn't going to win the score. It isn't going to get you with her. All it does is just put you in her back pocket. You're in her waiting list. Okay. That's how low of a quality we have today. And that's how much of a free range these women have. All right. Now, getting back to the subject of the cartoons, that's where the rubber meets the road, my American people. That's where it is actual and factual. As I'm speaking right now, every now and then I like to watch a good adult anime. Animation means that it is a cartoon, like what you would see like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry, for some of you who remember that, or SpongeBob. But animation is more of an adult like cartoon channel where it's adult subjects. It's for adult people. So you have school scenes or adult scenes or scenes of fighting, but it's animated. All right. Now, I have noticed and took notes sitting back looking at the animations. Do you know that it still stands today that you still have the programming of blue pill beta activity where women, and it is even harsh there. It's even more harsh than what you can imagine, where women of the opposite sex have the ability to pretty much kick these guys around, especially on animation. It's not like movies. Movies, you got to use animatronics like computers and scientific screens and blue screens in the back. You got to use different flashy cameras and lighting. On an animation, all you need to do is just sit down and just draw it, and you can make anything happen. You can make a character fly if you want to, just so happen to do so. So I notice with these animations that they take it to the extreme where the man is pretty much mutilated. He's kicked around. He's talked down. He's called a selfish pig. All right. He's called a pervert. He's completely disenfranchised while the woman goes unscathed. She's always protected. She always have a blue pill beta guy. She always have a group of people that will scrutinize him, but would praise her for whatever activity that she has, even if she did it herself. There were even scenes where these girls will purposely pretty much invite him over. Okay. And there was, in that scene, she would purposely jump out of the shower with no clothes on and run in the front room, knowing that he's in there, knowing that he's watching TV, right? And so he just happened to turn around and see this girl run into the front room with practically nothing on. And what happens, my American people? What do you think is going to happen? Because it's a programming. It's to program you. It's to program you blue pill guy. It's a program to America and whoever wants and is interested in entertainment. Entertainment is what gets you, because it's not just limited to animations. It's on cartoons and it's in movies. Let me tell you what happened, or in books, in books as well. Okay. So he turns around and sees her and his eyes is big. He start blushing, right? He's like, okay, what's going on here? What does she do? She crawls down to the floor and start covering her breast and act like she's all innocent and, oh, I don't know what happened. She yells the word that you women love to say the most. You women love beating men down with shaming language. You love labeling men who are innocent. You love to put them in a bracket with harsh words that he's not, that he had no intentions of. So she screams to say, She said, you pervert. You pervert. Why are you looking at me? That snapped me to reality. I said, wait a minute. I'm thinking to myself, how in the world is he a pervert? He's in the front room minding his own business. You ran out of the shower butt naked and ran in the front room, and you did not expect for him to be in there. You didn't expect for this male, who is a male, to turn around and see you when he hears a noise running at him from behind him, and you know he's in the house. And then she screams pervert. You'll be surprised how many people will say, yeah, he's a pervert for looking at him. How? Because it's called not being accountable. It's called, when they do that, they're teaching you blue pill males, okay, that it is okay for women not to be accountable for their actions. It's okay for women to act out in any way that they want to and accuse you for practically anything. They're teaching you that because you are natural and you are on orbit, it don't matter where you are. You can be on the job and this woman can be walking up to you with a hiked up dress where you can see her panty line. OK, they're telling you that if you go to the grocery store and you standing next to this woman who's wearing so-called yoga pants and you staring at her butt. I was going to say something else. OK, some children or kids might be listening to this. So Morpheus has to be careful. They telling you that if you are out in public somewhere and one of the blue pill beta guys decide to let his so-called busty, shapely woman walk out of the house with pretty much her lingerie on, that if you look at them, if you look at the girl in the grocery store, if you look at this person on the job a little too long, or just look at them, period, that it is your fault, that you are initializing your objectivity, that you are actually assaulting them by them being naturally attractive. And they have no accountability. They're not responsible for their actions. That it's okay for them to ambush your comfort zone in your circle. And because they ambush your comfort in your circle, it's your fault that they're there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so you're playing a video game and you're at this girl's house and she know you there. And she runs out of the bathroom and she has nothing on. And you look at her because you have no choice but to look at her. You want to know what that noise is. And she says it's your fault. She accuses you. Now you're a pervert. Now you're wrong for it. This is an assault on men. Do you understand? This is assault. This is not balance. It's not equality. It's evil. And not only is it happening in animation and cartoon, it's happening and have been happening on movies for years. And you men and women have not been noticing it because it's a programmed device. You're the 1 out of 10 grandmothers and grandfathers of the old days, because they barely even here now, because a lot of them want to be cool. They want to be your buddy and your partner, not a leader or the elder that deserves respect. So it's 1 out of 10 now. But those who were speaking, they told you that the TV is an idiot box. That's what I'm calling it. But they called it a mind washing machine. It's an idiot box. It's for idiots who love sitting there, getting their mind entrained and programmed. The beta blue pill guy isn't somebody who's born that way. They are made that way. And as you are made that way, a lot of women who are undercover destructors, or you can say undercover disasters, okay, are able to slip through the curtain, able to slip through unnoticed. And guess what you guys do? Even today, you'll get on one knee and say, will you marry me? Why do you have to get on one knee and ask her to marry you? Listen, let me ask you a question, and just sit back for a moment, America, because I just gave you a red pill and I want you to think about this for a moment. Think about this. Just close your eyes, calm your nerves, and listen to the sound of my voice with the energy that I'm giving you. Okay? And just calm yourself. You're an adult. We're an adult here. Now listen. Why should I, if I was that male, have to ask you to love me for the rest of your life? Think about that for a moment. Why should I have to get on one knee and ask you to be mine? Why should you have to ask somebody to be with you? If you love that person, be with that person. Should you, by that point, you've been dating that person, okay? You have been flirting with that person. You have been betting, donkey dunking with that person. You kissed that person, okay? You've been traveling around the country with that person. Why should you ask for something that you already have? This tells you all, especially you blue pill men, okay, who think that it's better to marry than to burn, or marriage is a way. Marriage is not for you men. It is for her. It is a trap. It is a program tradition to make you the submissive and to make her the subject. Do you understand? Why are you getting on one knee? Now, I can honor a woman on the flip side. I can honor if women started doing that, even if it's still tradition, even if it's still a financial contract. Okay, I still don't agree with it, but she deserves all honor in the world if it is the woman who gets on one knee, males, and she asks you, Mr. So-and-so, can I have your hand in marriage? Let me take you out to eat. This is your wedding ring, Brat, Brian, Jameson, Steve. This is your wedding ring, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Job, John. I love you. Can you be mine for the rest of your life? That would balance it. That would make equality. It will be a different story and a different reality if women said, no, I'm going to pay the bill. I'm going to flip this for you. No, don't worry about it. I'm going to be the one that's going to provide for you for this measure, for this, whatever the situation may be. No, I got this bill. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do it. And be confident with it. Be sincere with it. The issue that it is not so sincere on a majority level, okay, because women have not been programmed as an extremity as you blue pill guys have when you were children with cartoons, movies, and television. At that time, while they were watching television, they were too busy watching Dora the Explorer and other types of girls, or you could say the Go-Go Gadget with Inspector Gadget and Penny, or you could say Little House on the Prairie with Laura Ingalls. They're too busy watching you get away with all sorts of stuff. Even though, of course, we know Laura Ingalls used to always get herself in trouble. She did all kind of crazy things. That was an interesting TV show there. But on a modest occasion, okay, they're too busy watching the man approach her. They're too busy watching him get on one knee. They're too busy watching the tradition as to what they think things are supposed to be by the programming. So they didn't have a thorough background or a thorough programming such as you males. So on a often occasion, if she's paying your bills, if she's flipping the bill, if she's the one getting on one knee, it's not as generally sincere to the point where it is a common thing of the entire woman's circumference today. Because the programming is different now. The programming have stopped. That programming at the time was only for you blue pill males to be a servant to the women. So today, when you have at least 5 women out of 30 that might do the approaching, that might do the proposals, that might be willing to flip the bill, it's not generally because a woman is not able to do it. It's not because she don't want to do it. It's just that the programming, America, isn't there. She don't have enough knowledge to understand the history, and there's not enough television. Get it? Television, movies, or even cartoons that are showing women doing that because of the idiot box. So we cannot point our fingers completely and say that it is completely the blue pill beta guy's fault for being blind to his disadvantage. And we also can say on the flip side that it's not completely the woman's fault for her getting away with so much horrendous, unfair advantage over the male when it comes to dating and marriage and so forth and so on. Okay. It was the programming of the environment that we ourselves have allowed ourselves to be stooped in. There's been artists that have wrote this into the scripts. There has been producers who have made music to dumb you down and to make you feel a certain way, as if you had to act out a certain way to get a certain person's approval. When you understand how history have played you to be a fool, then you'll begin to comprehend that a lot of things were based on history. A lot of things were based on the past that we are not having now. So let's think that if you wanted to change things up, if you wanted to do things differently and teach the society the way it's supposed to be, what would be the best way to do it as they have done it before? Television, movies, cartoons, and song. Do you not understand? But if you have your eyes open, as Morpheus is trying to do for you, you are beginning to see that some of the movie channels and the animations, the cartoons still isn't all about that, because they're bringing in a new age of species. Yes, they're bringing in a new way of functioning. One of my favorite shows used to be Friends. I used to watch that a lot. But as I begin to mature, I noticed something in Friends, that it seemed like the friends never really had a steady relationship. They could never find anybody that would stick, but they would always have friends. You know, the entrainment, the programming was to let you think that, okay, the only thing important in your life is your friends. Okay. But yeah, you can never ground a really steady relationship with somebody who's going to be there for you for the rest of your life besides your friends. That's not reality, because your friends, they go off somewhere. Their friends get married. Your friends have kids. Your friends may go out on a Friday night without you. Your friends may develop a different lifestyle in their business and travel the country. That's not reality. But when people, children or teenagers begin to think that that's just a cool lifestyle to have, then what do you have in society is people who think that relationships is not important. You don't have to try to put effort in your relationship, and it's just lofty. It's just here and there and nothing else. No quality, no type of function. So therefore, my American people and blue pill beta guys and women who pretty much still confused, okay, you got to understand you've been biting the poisonous apple with the worm in it. It is not necessarily your fault. It's your lack of information. It's your lack of understanding that you, on a general basis, is not really who you are. Oftentimes you have a part of you, and I'm going to explain it to you in several videos that is to come. So be patient. I always say that. Be patient. There are more audios that are coming. Since you are subscribing and you're going to subscribe, like, share, and all that great stuff. Okay, it's going to come. Trust me. There's another side of you that is the program side of you. There's another side of you who have been born and bred to think a certain way, that you have to, at a certain age, at a certain time, where you have to dismantle. You have to deprogram that programming and take the fuses out. You got to cut the wires, and you got to rebuild that side of you so you can live your life to the best and not be a programmed mind individual, where you can see the world for what it really is. And I am here to help you. I am here, your Morpheus, your guiding light, to give you the power to do so. Let this audio log give you a little bit more power and let you understand that a lot of things is not just because it is nature. It is programmed by other people who had an agenda. It was programmed by a society that wanted to bring a result to reality. So when you look at your generation today, look at how lofty some women are, and look at how blue pill some men are, who think that it's still paradise out here for him while he's getting railroaded. They can't generally help it, because there's been a system that programmed them to do that. You understand? So if you want true liberation, if you want to really be at your best to fly above the nonsense of deception, all right, as you are listening to my audios, as I am walking with you, as you begin to study things for what it really is and practicality, get away the mythos, be done with the rumors, be done with what was said, and go by what is being said, and search the past, search your history, search what is going on. Then you begin to find the facts for yourself. Now, I can actually make a promise to you I normally don't do this, and I've probably put another one on one of my other audio logs, but as Morpheus, Leon C. Morpheus, okay, I will promise you that I will walk with you. Do you understand? So should you decide to leave the matrix, should you decide to leave religion behind, should you decide to say, yes, I think marriage is not the way, I need to go in a different direction. Yes, I need help. Yes, I am struggling in relationships. I need to find out what real love is. I need to find out even who God is. I can go there. I'm Morpheus. Or, yes, I need to understand how to raise my kids in a different way where they will respect me. Or basically, I need to raise my kids in a way where they are going to be put on the right path. Or one of the biggest questions, which is actually in motion now by the thoroughs of all my videos and audios that I am going to be producing for you, my family and friends, is how do we make America safer and turn it around from it falling down a tremendous catastrophe that we are having? How can we prevent the continuous civil war between male and female? How can we bring men back home? Do you understand? When you walk with me, I can promise you that I will stab at this apparatus on a constant basis in every direction to make sure that we get to the results. That means to make sure that we find a solution, because that is what these audios are for. It is for a solution. Now, when it comes to what I just talked about as far as the programming and blue pill guys who don't quite understand, okay, once they begin to do their history reports, once they begin to listen to these audio logs that I am giving unto you, once they begin to sit back and understand that it is unbalanced and listen to the music now and the music then, understand the movies and animes, just watch how it's unbalanced. Watch how the girl gets away with crime and the man is always the one ran over by a police truck. Okay, then he will begin to see, his eyes will begin to open. Watch how the husbands are being disenfranchised, where he is working a 9-to-5 job from Monday to Friday, sometimes not even coming home, and she barely does anything, barely provides much of anything, and still able to flip-flop on him even after 12 or 13 years. And I know some of you women don't even like that. Some of you women turn your nose up against some women that are doing those things. So therefore, you have a better idea as well as to how it is happening and why. Why is it happening? To keep the environment unbalanced, America. To keep your relationship unbalanced. There's nothing more gratifying to an enemy or for an agent of death to come in and watch your power unbalanced, to watch your house being unbalanced, to watch you having an unbalanced information, to watch you being misled. There's nothing more greater than an invader who loves the fact that you don't want to get along with the opposite sex that could be good for you not being interested in what family and virtue stands for. Because when you are separated, when you are unbalanced, when you are weak, that's when the machine world can come in. That's when the invaders can invade you. When you are separated and you are alone. If you do not understand this, then you need to reference your mind back to a couple of scenes in the Matrix itself, where as the machines begin to infiltrate. But the only way that they were able to survive was to team up and link up as a family, as a team, male to woman, shoulder to shoulder, culture to culture. No matter what color they was, no matter who they was, no matter what type of ideal of life they had to unify to protect and to support the entire human race. That is where we are today. So as long as we are continuously combating against these small, petty differences that we may have, such as finances and what she looked like and what's going on with how this person is doing what, then you will never succeed in your life, and the destruction of America and humanity will dissipate and become a machine eventually over time. If you think that Morpheus is crazy and off of his rocker, then you take this red pill and see it for yourself. Look at the machines that are around your world now. Look at everything that has computer chips. Look at all your smartphones, whereas you are supposed to be smart. Look at all the children who can't remember their own phone numbers, but they can remember it in their phones. Look at all the tablets that they're putting in the schools and they're trying to get rid of paper and pencil, which is aesthetic for your motor skills, doctors. Hello. For you to sit there and write with cursive handwriting. For you to socialize with a human being and not your computers. Look at all the cars that they're creating that's so autonomous and is so compiled with computers and techno screens and backup cameras and automatic start stop systems with push button. Where is the humanity? Where is the intelligence? Where is the advancement of a human race? Because your advancement of being a human race is being infringed upon. It's being taken from you slowly but surely. It's being harbored to be hampered and modified to be less than what it really can, less than its greater potential. If you want another comparison, talk about some of the cars that used to be made. It was natural, simple. They didn't have all the technical geek devices that are implied in some of these so-called sophisticated cars now, and they survived longer. They last longer. They were more appreciated. They didn't depreciate so fast. And most of them were a lot safer than these vehicles that you got now. Look at all the technical stuff that you have in your vehicles now. It's like plastic garbage, plastic trash that can go, that depreciates as soon as you get into it to test drive it. And it won't last that long. Then it take you more than a pocketbook and half a lifetime just to repair the computers that you got in a simple vehicle that its only job is to get you from point A to point B. But because we have this new computerized generation, now you got to be entertained to go from point A to point B. Really? You need a computer screen. You need a backup screen. You need pretty much everything that your human body can do on its own to get you from point A to point B. There was a time where men and women had imaginations. That's what created leaders. Imagination. Meaning you didn't need to have a flashy JBL DVD player in your car to entertain you and your children going down the road or out of town or travel, because you sung with each other, you talked to each other, you communicated with each other. You understand? You had your imagination to think about what you need to do for the day after, to think about your life, to reflect on what you think God is, to reflect on reality. You didn't need music or television. You used your natural human power. And now what happened? The machine wants to be a part of your world because you don't want to be a part of humanity. You don't want to be a part of nature. So therefore, slowly but surely, humanity today, as you see it, is so dependent on pills, chemicals, machines, and things that are unnatural. So therefore, just like the depreciated, deficient machine, that's the same thing that's happened to you humans. Same thing that you are agreeing upon. So therefore, more diseases come in, more sickness and more weakness come in. All right. And more desperation of the family and more deterioration and confusion between man and woman. I'm going to end it there because I have a plethora of more coming for you. My job is to give you this red pill and to make a Neo out of you, because I want you to fly. I want you to look at the matrix for what it is and evolve. I want you, America, to detach yourself from the computer. And I want that flag to rise high above, not only proudly, but with virtue and with meaning. So that way we can do this for the next generations that is to come. This is Leon C., aka Morpheus. Let's do this.